This is another report about life in the time of the coronavirus epidemic. I'm going to take the time to write about two giants here, briefly. It may seem tangential to my reports on the year 1 CE, but with all the pipsqueaks running about, causing such commotion, it seemed like a good thing to do, a kind of antidote to all of the squeaking and squawking. The first is Richard Pryor. I just read a book about him, and I watched a bit he did on the Ed Sullivan Show that blew me away, especially the part about the winos directing traffic. He created characters drawn from Peoria, Illinois, the ghetto, his hometown, and he did not make fun of them. They got their own laughs. The only character he laughed at was himself. He reminded me of Geoffrey Chaucer. If Peoria does not have a monument to this man, they should correct that oversight immediately. He earned it, and they need to claim him as their own. The second giant is the aforesaid Ed Sullivan. He was a twisted, tightly wrapped mole of a man who presented a weekly variety show from 1948 to 1971. I watched it all the time. I remember Topo Gigio, Jugglers, Elvis, and the Beatles. The book I read about Pryor forced me to recognize what this man did beyond running a successful show. He accomplished more in the way of civil rights, promoting the dignity, talents, and freedom of black people as well as any other person ever did, despite considerable blowback from sponsors and white viewers. He never wavered. I didn't know that. Week after week, year after year, this ugly little gnome put black performers on his show and into the living rooms of America, not by speeches or laws or protests or force, but simply by example, by the pure evidence of their existence and undeniable skills, beauty, and performance. He advanced the status of black people as no one else could have done at that time. They said a spot on Johnny Carson built careers. A place in the Ed Sullivan lineup helped a race of people join the American community. All those black faces made a powerful impression. It was a good thing in a troubled world. There should be a monument to Ed Sullivan, too. Not a church or a fortress, but a living room with a family inside watching a TV, wholly absorbed. And outside, on each brick, are the names of all the black people he had on the show. Many of them multiple times. For example, the Supremes, 14 times. A list of them follows. It's incomplete, yet impressive. Some of them, I've heard of them. Most are familiar to me. Others, I've not heard of them. Pryor is there, and his example shows me that Sullivan did not just allow them to appear in a sanitized way. Pryor was on for nearly 10 minutes, and not just telling jokes, but recreating the world of his from Peoria, the ghetto. What a portrait. What did America think? And believe me, hearing that, America had to think. Here are some of the people that Ed Sullivan, bless him, transported on his own televised railroad. Yes, it was a variety show. It was also a path to freedom. Frankie Lyman, the Supremes, Marian Anderson, Louis Armstrong, Pearl Bailey, Laverne Baker, Harry Belafonte, Brooke Benton, James Brown and the Famous Flames, Cab Calloway, Godfrey Cambridge, Sammy Davis Jr., Bo Diddley, Duke Ellington, Lola Falana, The Fifth Dimension, Ella Fitzgerald, The Four Tops, Dick Gregory, W.C. Handy, Lena Horne, The Jackson Five, Mahalia Jackson, Louis Jordan, Bill Kenny, B.B. King, George Kirby, Eartha Kitt, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Little Anthony and the Imperials, Moms Mabley, Johnny Mathis, The Miracles, Melba Moore, The Platters, Leontine Price, Richard Pryor, Lou Rawls, Della Reese, Nipsey Russell, Nina Simone, Sly and the Family Stone, The Temptations, Martha and the Vandellas, Ike and Tina Turner, Leslie Uggams, Sarah Vaughan, William Warfield, Dionne Warwick, Dinah Washington, Ethel Waters, Flip Wilson, Jackie Wilson, Nancy Wilson, and Stevie Wonder. Richard Pryor and Ed Sullivan, I salute you. I thank you both.